Josh, I'm going to compare your swing to Grant Waite, who was a tour player during the 90s and considered by many as having one of the best swings in golf. He's now one of the top instructors of tour players. I'm going to begin at the impact position because it's the most important. Everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is determined by the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact. And it's the club's position at impact that determines those laws of physics. And it's the body's position that determines the club's position at impact. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. First, I'm going to look at the weight distribution at impact. Grant has the majority of his weight on his left side at the moment of impact. If you look at that red line, it's passing right through his belt buckle. In fact, the average pro will have 85% of their weight on the left side at impact. Now, the reason for this is that they want to put the low point of their swing in front of the golf ball so they can hit the ball first before they hit the ground. This helps them transfer the maximum amount of their club speed into the golf ball so they get the maximum amount of ball speed coming off the face of the club. When we look at your weight distribution, you have a little bit more weight on your left side than you do your right side. But we need to get just a little bit further forward so that you too can hit down into the golf ball and compress the ball better to get more ball speed from your club speed. The second thing that pros do at impact is they get their hands in front of the golf ball before they hit the ball. This creates a shaft lean towards the target. The red line is the shaft of the club. And by getting the hands in front, that allows them to hit down into the golf ball. So they're hitting down into the ball so they can hit the ball first. Your shaft is a little bit more vertical than Grant's, and so you're going to come into the golf ball a little bit more shallow, and this is going to allow your club to sometimes hit the ground behind the ball more often. So you'll hit both fat shots and thin shots if you don't have enough shaft lean at impact. Another important position of impact is to have the left arm extended because it's part of the radius of your golf circle. And when you have an extended left arm, then the size of the golf circle, the radius is constant, and therefore the size of the circle is constant. When you have a bent left elbow, your golf circle will fluctuate. It'll expand and collapse without any consistency. And so that will bring about inconsistent ball striking. So it's important to try to get into a position of an extended left arm. Now, one of the things that helps accomplish that is to have the elbow pointed more down instead of out. Grant's elbow is pointed more down to his hip, and yours is pointed a little bit more out away from you. And that would be something that you would adjust at the setup so that your setup has the elbows pointed down a little bit more. Now let's look at some of the positions prior to impact to see what influence they may have on your impact position. Here we are at the one position, and I like the fact that you have your shaft already leaning at the beginning just like Grant does, and your hands are slightly in front of the golf ball. So that's very good. Your arms are a little straighter at the start, but your arms are rolled and turned so that the elbow is pointing out this way. And what you want to do is set them up where the creases in your elbows are pointing more upward to the sky. Your right arm has the crease pointing up, but your left arm does not. It's possible your grip, and particularly your left hand, is too far over, and that has rolled your arm in the wrong position. So slight modification of your grip will help you set your arms in a better position. You want the tricep sitting on top of your pectoral muscle. Instead of being on the side of your chest, you want it to be a little bit more on top of your chest. Also, if we look at your feet, you'll see that Grant's left foot is pointed out a little bit. In fact, both feet are flared just a little bit. Now, your right foot is flared a little bit, but I would like to have your left foot also flare out just a little bit like Grant has. This will assist in shifting your weight to your left foot. You'll see that Grant has shifted his weight a little bit more on his left side than his right side. He has about 55% of his weight on his left foot at the address position. So he's kind of in a little mini impact position with his a little bit more weight on the left, and he has his hands in front of the golf ball. You also are in a good position with your weight distribution. You have a little bit more weight on your left than your right, and you have your hands in front of the golf ball. So that's very good. I'm now going to start the backswing and go from position 1 to position 3, and let's look at the movement. First, let's look at Grant and how he moves. 3 is when the left arm is parallel to the ground, and you'll see when he turns and takes the club back, he keeps his head steady. He keeps his weight on his left side. He still has more weight on his left side than his right side. That red line is passing through his knee and hip and shoulder. So he's rotating around a fixed axis. He has a stable axis golf swing. And the axis is off that left side. We're going to follow your backswing. Not too bad. A very steady head. Very steady head. So you're making a really good move. You're not really swaying that much to the right. You're keeping very stable. I'm looking at that back knee, the right hip is turning. Your left knee is flexing while your right leg is extending. That's excellent. Very good move right there. You're not quite as far on the left side as Grant, but you're really close and you're in a good position to learn that move pretty easily. I'm now going to move both swings from the top of the backswing up to the ninth position and through impact. So as Grant comes through here, he drives even further past that red line, further past that left foot. And when he gets to the ninth position, which is when the right arm is parallel to the ground, this right arm is extended, it's straight, the left arm is straight. His left hand is underneath the right hand here, so his wrists are crossed and his elbows are very close together. When you come down, you're still kind of hanging back. You're not covering up your left foot. You're not getting your body over that left foot. The other thing, you can see how as you come through, your left arm is not extending, and you're cupping this left wrist here. So you're not letting that left arm stay straight. That's an indication that your hand action and release action with your hands and wrist through impact is not correct, and you're cupping your wrist more than keeping it quiet and just letting your wrist hinge upward instead of cupping back and forth. And so you're having some difficulty having those arms straight. The other thing that will cause this left elbow to bend is not coming off your back foot. You can see how Grant has his shoulder, knee, all on top of his left foot. He's coming off of his back foot. His right pocket and right knee are right on top of that left foot. Your right pocket and right knee are way behind your left foot. And when you keep this much weight back on your back foot, it will cause your left elbow to bend because as the handle races past the front of your body, the distance between your shoulder and the grip becomes much shorter on the left side than the right side, and the elbow has to bend to accommodate that. So there are some drills that you can learn to go through impact and get into this position that Grant is in. And once you learn that, you'll hit the ball with a dynamic difference. The ball will just come off with a good, nice pop. And you'll get some effortless power once you learn how to use your hands appropriately.